Good evening, Toastmasters. Good evening, everyone. 多分when we begin to study a new language, have you ever noticed that you were adventurous at the beginning than after? Recently, I realized something about myself. The more Japanese I learned, the more hesitant I became to speak it. So, tonight, I am giving this speech in English. This week, one day after my class, I went to a beer bar near my university and sat at the corner. Around me, the bartender and several regular customers were chatting and laughing together. The old me would have wanted to join them. I probably would have to say, "You all seem to have a great time and to start a conversation." But that day was different. I simply opened my book and read in silence. Then I thought to myself, I wasn't like this before, even only 1 year ago. When I first moved to Japan, I could not wait to speak Japanese. Whenever I saw even the smallest chance to speak, I would start a conversation at restaurants, at supermarkets, at school. I usually speak Japanese. I did not, these days, I did not care whether my grammar was wrong or my pronunciation sounded strange. Back then, just being able to speak Japanese made me happy. In fact, if anyone had tried to stop me from speaking Japanese, I probably would have argued with them. I wanted to show people that I was studying hard. I would do some great things. More importantly, I want to prove to myself that I was making progress. But as I continued studying Japanese, something gradually changed. I learned enough Japanese to express most of what I want to say in my own way. Of course, I still make some vocabulary mistakes. I also use many experiences influenced by Chinese. People could usually understand me, but some of my sentences did not sound completely natural. There were Chinese sentences wearing Japanese clothes. My pronunciation was also far from perfect. Even so, I had reached a point where I could communicate my thoughts reasonably well, or at least that was what I believed. But then, something strange happened. Little by little, my strong desire to just speak, no matter what, began to fade. At first, I thought, maybe I have become lazy. Maybe I'm no longer like to study. But that was not the whole story, I think. When we begin learning another language, we naturally imitate other people. We memorize useful phrases, we copy their pronunciation, we learn how to react, how to greet people, and how to continue a conversation. Sometimes, we even perform the role of a person who speaks that language. In fact, this is not a bad thing. Imitation is an important part of learning, especially learning language. It is how we build our language skills little by little. But at some point, I began to want something more. I realized that I had learned how to sound like a person who can speak in Japanese, but I had not yet learned how to sound like myself in Japanese. In the past, I often spoke Japanese because I want to prove something. I wanted to prove myself. But now, I do not want to speak simply to prove that I can speak. I want to speak because I have something that I truly want to say. I want Japanese to become more than a subject I study. I want it to become a way to organize my thoughts, express my feelings, and share my experience with some people. This is also why I came to Toastmasters. By preparing speeches, I can talk the thoughts inside my head, organize them, and turn them into stories that I can share with all of us. At first, I thought Toastmaster could help me become more cheerful and outgoing again, like the person I was first moved to Japan. But perhaps I do not need to become that person again. The truth is, I was a shy boy. Usually, I'm not someone who talks all the time, and I think this is all right. I do not need to speak at every opportunity. I do not to start a conversation with everyone I meet. What I want is the ability to speak when I have something meaningful to sharing. I hope the Japanese and English can become bridges between my thought and the people around me. And most importantly, a voice that can tell stories that are truly my own. That's all. Thank you.